G18 GA5 2368.
Hello, and today we're going to be going over Chapter 21, the telephone. The telephone is a vital link in the history and future of telecommunications. You'll see on slide 1, in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell and Eliza Gray were the first two to race the patent office for the talking telegraph. Indeed, Bell was the first inventor to patent the talking telegraph. The talking telegraph was one of the first few developments in the telecommunication industry. In slide 3, we'll talk about the American Telephone and Telegraph Company. The American Telegraph and Telephone Company was established March 3, 1885. Theodore Vail reigned as president for 15 years. During this time, Mr. Vail turned AT&T into a centralized monopoly. By 1919, Theodore Vail had retired, and the company owned every telephone pole, telephone switch, and even the telephones within the consumers' homes. POTS was the telephone system used during this time. POTS stands for the Plain Old Telephone System. This system uses a voice-grade telephone service employing analog system transmissions over copper loops. The POTS system was the standard offer from telephone companies between 1876 and 1988. The calls were switched till they reached the correct line. A newer telephone technology is the Voice over Internet Protocol. Voice over Internet Protocol is a group of technologies for the delivery of voice communications and multimedia systems over the Internet. These calls were switched on the public switched telephone network. The calls were switched from branch and trunk lines until they reached the correct line. The public switched telephone network evolved into the SPC, or the Stored Program Control, a telecommunications technology that uses computers for telephone exchanges. In slide 4, I'll be discussing the birth of the mobile phone. The Carter phone was developed by Thomas Carter to be used by oil workers and farmers for communicating across long distances. The Carter phone sold over 3,500 units from 1955 to 1966. The first completely mobile phone was created by Martin Cooper. This phone was based on the communicator from the TV series Star Trek. In reality, Cooper's design was nothing like the communicator and was nicknamed the Brick because it weighed 2 pounds. Richard Frankel and Joseph Engel invented the cellular map. This map created mobility for the cellular growth. Although the design caught the attention of the FCC and mobile engineers, it was not until a generation later when the cell phone and this network was widely used. Moving on to slide 5. In 1993, IBM introduced the first smartphone. This device offered the customer a touchscreen, an address book, and a sketch pad. In 1996, Nokia merged with Hewlett-Packard and introduced a device with the Personal Device Assistant program. This device offered the consumer a cell phone, a web browser, and a personal organizer. Now, what makes up a smartphone? A smartphone includes 4 layers. The first layer is made up of the application the consumer uses, such as Google Play, your social media app, or the internet browser. The second layer is the operating system, such as OIS, Android, or Windows. The device itself makes up layer 3, so that would be your Apple iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy. And the fourth layer is the network. The network is what is used for the devices to communicate with the world. In the 6th slide, we will compare the BlackBerry and the iPhone. The BlackBerry came from a company called Research in Motion and was developed based on a two-way pager system. The BlackBerry was also known as the Crackberry in some places because of its addictive quality. The BlackBerry offered access to an email, the cell phone, the World Wide Web, and other applications. The BlackBerry came from a Canadian firm, and by 2014, that firm was failing because of quarterly losses of up to $1 billion. This firm could not keep up with the competition with competition such as the iPhone. Now the iPhone came out in 2007 and it costed a mere $499, but it also offered an iOS operating system, access to the web, and the multi-touch screen, which lets the consumer touch, tap, pinch, and push the screen, and so they wouldn't have to use the stylus like they did with the BlackBerry. In slide 7, we're going to discuss what a network is. A network or a mobile network is a communication network where the last link is wireless. The network is distributed over the land areas using cells. Now the 4G network is what we use now, and the 4G network is a step up from 3G, and 3G is now used as a backup from the 4G when it's overloaded. The term 4G describes the fourth generation of wireless service. And then the 4G is also a high-speed wireless service, but the 4G is also only available in certain areas. In the last slide of the presentation, I left some statistics and developments that would be interesting to read if you want more information on the telephone. And for my question for the class, I want to know what you think the smartphone will be like in 10, 15, or 20 years. And I want you to use your imagination and really think about how far we've come from the 19th century talking telegraph and what we could possibly be using in the future. All right, thank you very much.
You used to call me on my cell phone.